people on the board of this project and working together with us, amazing people, that exists since 13 years, and it's actually about sharing resources and about the fellowship and scholarship specifically for BIPOC, migrants, and yes, so still a very important problem actually this way, and yeah, I was in the beginning of the involved too, like in the board and Massacre. I was cooperating Massacre. That was a festival last year that we did in the Volkskunde Museum with all the curators. That was actually based on this question of conviviality, care, and transformation of museum space, and thinking about how global majority curating spaces. Yes. I think I hope.
Thank you.
You were.
Yeah, I think that leads to the next question really well. Also, according to your practice, this question of, I think when you think of ecological complexity, it also is the time of understanding time and the understanding of care and community. And I think that's also very present in your work, and that's why I wanted to ask you also this question of what means being ecological to you, and how do you relate yourself and your activism to the understanding of nature.
First of all, I don't see the separation. I think about this Anthropocene way of seeing nature as or this very. This thinking that this superiority that we have, about this division of nature and us. I think this is the first thing that it's not me believing these are in kind of cosmovisions of indigenous communities and quilombolas. So this is where I see the truth about or how this negation of trying to see nature as always with this logic of strategy, how can I say this in English? Exploitation and there is a better word I forgot now in English. Extractivism, I think. Extractivism, yeah. So and also this is like what you call nature, because we are nature. I think this is like we cannot, like indigenous communities don't legitimate this declaration of superiority for the nature. And I think it's I think I would like to talk about the I know that this is not what you were saying and the reference that you're talking about being ecological, but for me, there is I don't know if you know Nego Bispo, that is a philosopher from Brazil too. He is for me one of like the most important voices that every time that he passed away, he just he's saying he didn't die because he in this belief of being nature you don't die, it's just like it's becoming part of this cosmos in that way. And he was saying like he has a very interesting point about this, and like criticizing the terminology of ecology, ecology like that because he sees ecology as something that's coming from the white academic way of thinking, like that's he says that's he's criticizing the ecology as a terminology, so because he believes in this kind of knowledge of that you are experimenting the knowledge, that you live the knowledge. So and one of a conference that he was doing at USP, that is a very famous university in Brazil, and he was just saying, there is no ecology, my dear. Stop with this, like, ecology is like it's us, it's those that, like it's like it's Roça de Quilombo, is Ribeirinhas, this community of, like this is like the ecology, it's the people that actually are experimenting this knowledge, because if you have the ecology as a kind of epistemology that creates the knowledge that can be, understand too, and is coming from a kind of a very big separation, like of division of people that are observing the nature, that are not part of the nature. So this is one of the most like that he say that. So in this case, I don't believe in this ecology, like if you don't see, if you don't deeply listen these voices of indigenous community, of quilombolas, I don't know if you are familiar with it. I'm speaking from the experience and the voices that's why, like, so that's brown and black voices, specifically here from Havaiana in Brazil now. So that's quilombola are like enslaved people that were in not colonized. They don't call themselves colonized because they could escape, from the colonial violence, and they create where we have a lot of quilombos, like so they as Nego Bispo brings to us like a very important actually the idea of it's not about the preservation, ecological preservation, or political ecology would be more this kind of counter coloniality, so this counter coloniality that's he says if you were colonized, you had to decolonize. If you were not colonized, you had to counter colonize. And if you were like decolonized, you know what you had to do. So we have to, so it's like the colonizer has to take the responsibility of the, so it's a very interesting process that he brings, like how the process of coming back to the oral memory, the history, like of sharing stories, of listening these voices of people that are in the forest, that are in the riverside, like this is what I believe, this is, and I'm more and more like my work is I'm learning deeply listening, like coming back to the history of my family, coming back to the history of like where here where I am, I am now here, not in Bahia now, in Alagoas, that's close to a river, that's São Francisco, that's one